would update a little bit before the Book-a-thon week starts. It's right now Sunday, 10 o'clock at night, and the plan for the week is that tomorrow we will go to my partner's summer house and we'll stay there for the entire week. We might go back into town at some point because I've ordered a camera that I wanted it to come for tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it. So I might be getting it Wednesday, I think. I have, well, if you see my TBR, I have 10 books, and 6 of those I have an audiobook. So that's nice. Only 2 of the challenge books, but the first one I'm gonna read, Changeless by Gail Carriger, was one of the audiobooks, so I can start listening to that first thing in the morning. And that is my plan. So, yeah. I will not be staying up until midnight. I'll be going to bed quite soon. And maybe start my day early tomorrow. So, bye. Good morning. It's Monday morning, like 8 o'clock. And I just woke up. Yeah. The first thing I'm gonna do today is just eat breakfast, listen to my audiobook, and then I'm going over to her friend's house to help her with her sewing machine, and it shouldn't take very long. And then finish packing, and then after lunch we're leaving for the summer house. It's I think it's raining. It rained yesterday for the first time in like 3 weeks, which is great, actually, because it's been really dry and Sweden's been on fire because it's been so hot and so dry. So it's great that it's raining, but I was hoping to have nice weather so I could be outside and maybe take a bath or 2 or 5. But if it's raining, I can be inside and I can read even more. Hi. I'm on my way back from my friend's house. I just thought I'd update you. I've listened to about 2 hours of my audiobook, and it's good. What does annoy me is that I read the first book myself with my own voices in my head. And now I have someone else reading. First of all, I pronounce all the names wrong. And then the person reading, well, one of the characters, Lord Macon, is Scottish, and so she reads him with a Scottish accent, and that's fine. But because she's doing a Scottish accent, she's not doing any intonations of feelings or anything else in his voice, so it's very monotone. And that annoys me. Maybe I get used to it. But overall, good book so far. We just had lunch at Subway, and now we are about to head out to the summer house. I ended up at the bookstore because it's next door to Subway, and I bought this book, Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton. It's the 3rd book, and I think the last book in a series. I read the first 2, Rebel of the Sands and Traitor to the Throne, last summer, and and I loved them. They were amazing, and I've been waiting for this book ever since. And once it came out, I've been looking and looking and looking at bookstores, but they never seem to have it in, like actually in store. I thought I would have to order it, and now I just spontaneously walked in and they had it. So now I have to have this book with me this entire week when I can't read it, because 10 books is already preposterous. 11? No. So I'm just gonna have to wait. I was still thinking of maybe rereading the first 2, before I get to that one anyway, so I might be able to keep my hands off it. We'll see. We're here. Yeah, by the ocean. The weather is getting better, so might be able to take a bath, might be able to swim some in the ocean. I'm more than halfway in my audiobook now. I have about 3 hours left. It's good so far. Yeah. It seems to be like the previous books I read by Gail Carriger, where even though each book is like a standalone in the series, they still have like an overarching story, which I'm intrigued by. So I've been lying on the bed listening to my audiobook for a while, and apparently I fell asleep twice. So I've skipped back about half an hour, and yeah, now I have about 2 hours left on my audiobook, and I have moved from the bed and found something to do while listening, so I don't fall asleep again. I just finished listening to Changeless by Gail Carriger, and I enjoyed it for the most part. There were some parts where Alexia, the main character, she would say things like doing her wifely duty, or when he was in such a mood there was nothing to stop him, about her husband and sex, and well, that's a bit annoying. I don't really condone that behavior, as well as she being like not like the other girls because she's smart and doesn't care for shopping or outrageous hats. So all the other women become sort of stereotypes, and yeah, I give it a 3 stars. Now it's really bloody hot in here, so we're gonna go swim for a while, and then it's dinner, and then I'll pick up the next book. I had to take a quick break from reading because we had a bird in the bathroom who flew in to one of the open doors. But we got it out. It's safe. But I thought I could update you on my reading while I was at it. I just started reading Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón, and it's a book about a boy who finds a book by an author, and he falls in love with the book and wants to find the author, but he seems to have been erased from the earth. And I just read a couple of pages so far, but I have an extreme bias for books about things that I really like. For example, books. And I still think I've read this one before. So far I love the language, even though it's translated from Spanish, it's still a kind of descriptive, beautiful language. So I really like this one so far. It is 10:42 and I am exhausted. I have read 88 pages in The Shadow of the Wind. It's so far still very good. Tomorrow I will hopefully finish that book and I will start on my second audiobook. Yeah. I finished my first book today. That was a good start. I think I can do 7 books in 1 week. 10, it's still a lot. But
I always think that, the challenge is 7 books, but I'm also out of town for the entire week, so I want to bring. It's like in case I finish those books, I want to bring another, and in case I finish that book too, I need to have another one as well. And in case I finish that one, I need a third. So many books. But I'm gonna sleep now. So probably, hopefully, I can get up early tomorrow and start reading. If the weather is good, if it's very warm weather, we might go to the beach. And then in the afternoon, evening, before dinner time, my partner's parents are coming and we'll have dinner together and they'll stay the night. So I'm not sure how much reading I'll get done when they're here. And they're here. But I can hopefully finish another book. That is my plan. Good night. It is like 7 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep anymore. So I decided to get up. My partner's still sleeping. But I thought I could get some reading in instead. I'm going to continue reading The Shadow of the Wind for a while. I'm about to eat breakfast, and so I'm gonna start listening to my next audiobook. My next audiobook, which is City of Brass. So I'm gonna listen to a little bit of that while I'm eating. Hello. It is now past 11 at night, and I haven't been able to update very often today because my partner's parents are here, and so I didn't want to whip out the camera all the time. But I have gotten some reading done. We took a trip back into town, and so I was listening to my audiobook. I'm listening to The City of Brass, and I am I'm at chapter 21, about 360 pages in, and it's really good so far. I really like it. I am a little bit apprehensive about the prospects of a love triangle, but by now it doesn't seem like it's going in that direction. At least I hope not. I also read a couple more pages in The Shadow of the Wind, and it's still a great book. I'm still quite certain I have read it before, because when I read stuff I remember them. I remember reading them before, but I still want to finish it, because I don't remember the ending or anything like that. So that is what I have done. Tomorrow, my partner's parents are leaving about midday, so then I have the entire afternoon to just read. Yeah. Now I'm gonna sleep. Good morning. Today's plan is to finish City of Brass. I have about 4 hours left of the audiobook, and then hopefully maybe finish Shadow of the Wind. I have maybe 350 pages left on that one. But our company just left much earlier than I thought. It's just 9:55 right now. So I have a whole day to just read and listen to audiobook and such. I bought a new camera. It came in the mail yesterday. If you notice, the image is much more still today than it's been previous days. Maybe a little more sharp. I don't know. Yeah. So you can expect some more vlogging today because it will be just me and my partner. So, update. I have finished City of Brass, the audiobook, and it was a great book. It seems to be the first in a series because there were some plot threads not finished, and there was some cliffhangers in the epilogue. So, and this one also came out this year, so I am hoping for a sequel. Well, within the next 2 years maybe, or I will go crazy. So I read that. I have also finished a painting, or drawing, or filling in colors. You can see that. It's not very clear. It's just something to do when I listen to audiobooks, because otherwise I'd fall asleep. Yeah. So now I'm gonna continue reading Shadow of the Wind. Maybe go for a swim. It's not as hot out today as it's been before, but it's still quite nice to just go for a swim. So I might do that. Hello. I said I would be better at vlogging today, but I haven't been, I'm sorry. I have about 100 pages left of The Shadow of the Wind. I wanted to finish it tonight, but we were watching a movie and I got distracted. And I started listening to a new audiobook, and I'm listening to I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. And so far, I'm only a few chapters in, but so far it seems very typical YA to me. Not sure what I think about it yet, but it seems very by the numbers. We'll see what happens. I did, however, when listening to audiobooks before, I had audio speed of times 1.5, but this guy was reading so slowly I had to up it to twice, 2 times the speed. So now he's reading really fast. That also means I get through it faster. I'll try to be better at vlogging tomorrow. I promise. Good night. Good morning. It's 11:22 and I have just finished The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz-Zafón, and I enjoyed it. It is a good book. He has great language, even, like I said before, translated into Swedish. There are some minor things that annoyed me slightly, and I want to talk about them. So spoilers for this book, as long as I'm holding it up, I will be talking about some minor spoilers. As soon as I take it down, there will be no more spoilers. So first of all, there was an element of dreams somehow being real, but it never got quite explained why, or why it was only for some people. Otherwise, this book is very based in reality, and I'm not saying that some people in the real world believe in their dreams, but because it played sort of a part in the story. For example, when Julian and Penelope met for the first time, they had both had dreams about each other, and that's the reason they were interested in each other. I feel like they could just be interested in each other anyway. The dream part didn't have to be there, as well as Penelope's nanny or whatever she was. She also had dreams about an angel called Zacharias who told her things about her future that then turned out to be true. And he's the one who told her to go to Penelope's family. And that's why she went there, and that's why she started working for that family. And that also is like, I mean, some people, like I said, believe in their dreams, but because it played such a major part in her life, and because it actually turned out to be true, all the things he said, I feel like that should be something explored more, maybe? I don't know. Second thing that annoyed me was the perspectives and how they shifted, and when someone was telling Danielle about, anything, they were talking about Julian, and it's like, even though there was a certain person's perspective, they could still talk about how other people, what other people did and thought and said while they weren't present. And in the long letter that Nuria writes to Danielle, there are huge chunks where she isn't even present, and there's no explanation how she got that information. So that was weird. And the third thing was that two women in this book get pregnant. Both of them, the first time they have sex, both of them find this out. Both find out they're pregnant within like a week of having sex. And as far as I know, that is not possible. Because last I heard, I'm not expert, but last I heard, it actually takes a couple of weeks to find out if you're pregnant or not, depending on like your period, if it comes, or other symptoms. So that was just maybe badly researched, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how that works, but that's what I've heard. And then also that both of them get pregnant the first time they have sex. I believe that to be highly unlikely to happen, but it's a book, so it's just, I couldn't really suspend my disbelief to that. Other than that, I think the book is really good, and I do enjoy it very much. I'm not sure if I would pick up more books by him, because there's a lot of talking, a lot of story and such, and not that much happening, if you know what I mean. But I enjoyed the experience. So now I'm gonna pick up my next book, and I have not decided yet which book I'm gonna read. I think I'm gonna read the non-fiction one, the one where I'm gonna wear a hat. Because I'll also probably go outside and paint or something. No, that makes no sense. I want to paint as well, but if I'm gonna paint, I have to listen to an audiobook. And I'm still listening to I Am Number 4. I haven't listened anymore today, but I will do that as well. Hello. It is like 8 o'clock, and I just finished the Making of Prince of Persia journals, and it was a very good read, a quite fast read, and a good read. It is basically about his creative process, making the first game, debating whether or not to move over to filmmaking instead of video game making, and starting and releasing Prince of Persia 2. And it's a very good read. He has very He has a lot of good thoughts and he says a lot of things that I could recognize myself in. And I've read other books about the creative process and such, but seeing a actual real life example of something like that, it was very interesting. It's very motivating. If I wasn't without internet for this entire week, I would probably have spent some time writing myself or working on some of my other projects. But I'm here to read, so that's what I'm gonna do. Next book I'm gonna pick up is The Devil Wears Prada, so I can watch the movie this weekend. So that is 4 challenges that I finished. First one was the coin toss when I read Changeless. Second was A Beautiful Spine, which was City of Brass. Third one was something I always wanted to do, and that was Shadow of the Wind. And last one, Prince of Persia Journals, Wearing a Hat, for the entire duration of reading. And Devil Wears Prada will then be the book-to-movie adaptation. So I think I might actually do the 7 challenges for the Booktube-a-thon. I don't think I'm gonna read all 10 books that I have with me, but I'm gonna read at least 7. So that's good at least. It is now past midnight and I'm about to go to bed. Tonight I have finished I Am Number 4 by Pyrrhus Lore. There's a mosquito in here, I'm sorry. And I gave it 2 stars because it was sort of enjoyable most of the way through, but by the time the climax came around, I just wasn't interested. Not really. I was also playing card games by the last hour or so, and so I wasn't really focusing. I just didn't care. So 2 stars. So I'm probably not gonna keep the book, but now I finally read it because I've had it for years. So yeah. I have now instead started listening to The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I'm only like 3 chapters in, but it seems good. I think I either need to slow down the pace I'm listening in, or I have to read the physical book at some point, because I feel right now that I don't really understand everything that's going on. So I might have to slow down and listen to it properly. Because this is a book that I've heard is very popular on Booktube, so I want to give it like an honest chance. We'll see tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow night my sister and her partner is coming to stay with us for the weekend. And so I might not get as much reading done. I am, however, gonna make sure to read The Devil Wears Prada, because that means I can watch it then with my sister, because I know she likes it. Yeah. Good night. Hello, it is 1 o'clock and we're about to eat lunch. I wanted to update you on my reading. I have read about 50 pages of The Devil Wears Prada, and so far it's good. I enjoyed the writing. I have seen the movie several times, but it's been quite a while since the last time, so I don't remember a lot, but I remember some parts. And yeah, I'm a little worried this book might have a fashion is vain and bad message. I hope not, but yeah, it seems kind of like that kind of book. we'll see. And then I have listened to about 160 pages of The Raven Boys, and so far I really enjoy it. I like the audiobook so far as well. I like the person reading. Yeah. So far today I have read, we've done the dishes, done some vacuuming and cleaning up in preparation for my sister coming, and then we have gone for a swim and I showered, so now I have wet hair. Yeah, and after lunch we'll continue doing some cleaning, and then I'll hopefully get some more reading done. I want to get quite far in The Devil Wears Prada, so maybe we can watch the movie tonight, otherwise tomorrow. Yeah, I feel like I'm ahead in my planning. If I think 7 books, I've read 5 now, and I have 3 days left. I think that's good. I might be able to get to 8 books. We'll see, depending on which books I read. Because I have, after Devil Wears Prada, I still have The Guardians by Andrew Piper left for the challenges. So yeah. I don't know how much reading I'm gonna get done when we have guests, but I'm gonna try to squeeze some in anyway. It is past midnight and I am about to go to bed. I thought I'd get some more reading done in The Devil Wears Prada. We've been playing board games since dinner. We took a bath. We went for another swim, it was nice. But I haven't gotten that much reading done since my sister arrived, which I was expecting, but now I'm gonna try to read at least maybe 50 more pages before I go to sleep. I have about half an hour left on the audiobook The Raven Boys. It is very good. I really want to continue the series. So yeah, we'll see where this leads. I feel like I'm not as focused on the book as I could be because I'm listening on double speed. But I think that if I'm gonna continue the series, I'll probably read the physical book. And I already have the first one, so I'll probably purchase the rest. So yeah. So tomorrow I'm gonna finish the audiobook. I'm gonna try to finish Devil Wears Prada so I can watch the movie tomorrow night. And hopefully at least get started on The Guardians, the last challenge books. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 8 books. That would be nice. Maybe I can squeeze in a 9th on Sunday, because we'll be going home around 5 p.m. I think, driving my sister and her partner back to the train and going back home, so then I have all night to just read. Yeah. I'm gonna start a new audiobook as well, so I might actually have started all 10 books by the end of this read-a-thon. We'll see. Good night. I have not filmed anything today. I'm sorry. I did actually get up at like 8:30 to read some pages. I really wanted to finish Devil Wears Prada today so I could watch the movie. And after breakfast I got my period, and so then I was confined in bed with period cramps until lunch, and I didn't think that would be particularly fun for you to watch, but I did get some reading done. And then after lunch we played Time Stories board game, which takes like 3 hours, and then before dinner I read some more while my sister and her partner were playing. more board games, but I wanted to finish my book, so I read. And then by the time dinner was done, I was finished with the book. And so after eating, we watched Devil Wears Prada. And honestly, I'm not sure which one I prefer, because they're so different from each other. Because Miranda Priestley in the book is literally the worst. She's horrible in so many ways, not giving all the information to her assistants and like withholding information purposefully and just being a complete asshole. But in the movie, they make her quite sympathetic, and spoilers for the movie, by the way, but Christian, the guy who she flirts with in the book, he's in the movie as well. He's like a secondary antagonist, or maybe the real antagonist or something. He's like thrown into the movie like by the end, that he was working with the French editor-in-chief to take over the American branch of Runway, and that just came out of nowhere. And they had made Miranda Priestley to such a sympathetic character that Andy, was actually trying to help her. And yeah, they seem to have some kind of not like relationship, but the book was more like winning her respect kind of story. The movie was a winning her respect kind of story, while the book was more, I'm not sure what to call it, but there wasn't really like a moral of the story in the same way. The movie felt very much like it had a moral about like standing up for yourself and all that, and winning people's respect that way, while the book was just like, don't sell your soul to the devil or something like that, because she was just outright evil, basically, Miranda Priestley. Yeah, the movie felt incredibly short after binge reading that book, and there were a lot of jumps in time that they didn't tell you that they had jumped. They did that sometimes in the book as well, but I mean the book is much more expensive than the movie. So, but like you couldn't tell where some parts is like, is this the day after the last chapter, or is it the day before the next chapter? Wasn't clear all the time. It was also weird in the book. It started with her already working for Miranda Priestley, and she was out getting her car or whatever that was. But they never placed it in time relative to the rest of the book. They just jumped back to when she started and then told the rest of the story, but you never found out when that happened. Like, I just thought it was weird. Good book overall, enjoyable. Don't think I'll read it again. I'll give it a 3, I think, because it was also quite annoying. Andrea. First of all, I thought that she was very annoying, that she kept nagging on and whining about other people's accents. She said she couldn't understand Miranda Priestley because she was speaking British, and some super posh British, obviously. And she was speaking fast and she was speaking British, so Andy just couldn't understand her, as well as constantly saying that she wanted her brother-in-law to shut up because he had a southern accent, so she just preferred him to not speak, which was really rude. Complaining that her sister had lived in Houston for so many years that she now also had the same accent as he had. Yeah, it also, there was just like small things like that in her attitude. Shit. That bothered me. And then there was also, in the movie, her friends are like obviously right in thinking that she spends too much time at work and she's turning into a diva and all that. In the book, there's a different sort of relationship. Her boyfriend in the book, Alex, seems very much to take the moral high ground, or thinking he's taking the moral high ground. He thinks he's always correct, he thinks he's always doing the right thing, and he thinks that he knows what's best for Andy. And I'm not saying this job is good for her, but he just can't even listen to her about some things. And her friend Lily, she was just weird. First of all, it's not Andy's fault that Lily became an alcoholic. Spoilers. Or something. Yeah, spoilers for the book throughout this entire part. It's not Andy's fault that Lily became an alcoholic. They're grown-ups. Grown-ups. She's a grown woman. She should be able to handle it herself. Alex keeps saying, she's your friend. You need to look after her. She's your friend. But isn't Alex also Lily's friend? Can't he talk to her? Can't he do anything? Apparently not. And he seems to think it's Andy's responsibility to take care of her. And yeah, people should look after each other, but she's still an adult. And I think he puts too much pressure on her. And then Lily was just weird, saying, first of all, she slept with a guy who had a girlfriend when they were like in high school or something like that. But then in college freaks out when she finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her. Double standards much. And then when Andy meets Christian and starts casually flirting with him, Lily says she should go for it, and like, you're young, you should play the field, basically. She doesn't seem to believe in monogamy at all. While Andrea has some conservations about flirting openly with a guy when she already has a partner. She just doesn't seem to be able to help herself. So yeah. Yeah, but I liked the book. There was also by the ending, she sends her text to another paper, and she gets a reply back from one of them saying that they pay $1.50 per word, and so she writes a 2,000 word text, and so she would get $3,000 for that. And she basically calls that pocket change. And I realize she's been working at Runway for a year and is used to having like all the money in the world at her expense at work. But still, $3,000 is a lot of money, I think. And I think she pays like $1,100 a month for her apartment, and so that's a third. And I don't know how expensive everything else is, but if that is one paper, one text, if she can sell like one of those a month, it's still a lot of money, I would say. So yeah, she doesn't seem, it's either the author who just doesn't know what she's talking about, or writing is a more well-paid job than I thought. Yeah. I had a lot of things to say about that book. I have not yet started reading The Guardians, but that is what I'm gonna read now. I have also not finished the Raven Boys audiobook, but I have like half an hour left, so I'll probably do that in the morning. After the movie, we played another round of Time Stories. Replayed and a story that we played before, about a year ago, I think, just to see if we could do it better this time, though we didn't remember very much. We all remembered like bits and pieces, but it still took us a long time to get through everything. So yeah. We've changed our plans for tomorrow because my partner's parents are coming back out on Monday, and they asked if we wanted to have lunch with them and some of the neighbors. And so we'll be staying the night tomorrow until Monday and then go home after lunch. So I'll have an entire evening tomorrow here to just read. So hopefully I get through another book. I did not think this through when I chose books. All of my books, all 10, are more than 300 pages. 2 of them were more than 500 pages. So it's a lot of pages to read in 7 days. But yeah, like I said yesterday, I think I can at least start all 10 books. So if I finish The Guardians tomorrow, I might be able to start Sleeping Giants. If I finish the audiobook, The Raven Boys, I could start listening to the Red Queen. Red Queen, yes. So it was not as crazy as it could have been, but I've also done like literally nothing else some days. It's been reading and eating. Yeah, but it's been quite relaxing, so it's been fun. Now I need to sleep. It's past midnight and I'm really tired. Good night. So, it is past midnight, Sunday night, and the Booktube-a-thon is officially over, for me at least. I thought I'd go through the books I've read, the books I have not read yet, and the challenges I have completed and not completed. So the first book I read was Changeless by Gail Carriger, which is the book I coin tossed to read. And I listened to that one on audiobook, so I finished that one. Next book, also audiobook, City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This one was A Beautiful Spine. Nope, that's upside down. Yeah, that's right. Looks like that. So I also listened to this one on audiobook. Next book I read the physical copy, Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón in Swedish. This one was something that I've always wanted to do, and that is meet my favorite author. Next book was to wear, next challenge was to wear a hat throughout the process of reading the book. So I read The Making of Prince of Persia journals from 1985 to 1993. Yeah, and I wore the hat the entire time. Next challenge book was The Devil Wears Prada, which I read, and then I watched the movie. A good book, good movie, so that was also a challenge. And then I started The Guardians by Andrew Piper today, and I did not finish it. I got 195 pages into the book, but I did not finish it, and not a single one of the other books I've read has a single speck of green on them, so I failed that challenge. But I did read I Number 4 by Pyrrhus Lore, which would be 7 books. And then I also read, no, this one would be 7 books. This one was the 7th book I read, Rayon Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. I counted, I need to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I finished 7.5 books. This read-a-thon. I did also get a few pages into the audiobook of Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I have not written up how many pages I have read, because I only started reading it because I was driving my sister and her partner to the train station, and so I wanted an audiobook to listen to. I wanted an audiobook to listen to on the way back, and so I started listening to that one. I don't even think I got maybe a chapter or 2, I don't even remember. And then last book from my TBR that I did not get to pick up was Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Nouvel. I was thinking of listening to this audiobook, but I decided to start listening to Red Queen instead, because I really wanted to read this one, like physically. So that is my Booktube-a-thon. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep. I have not gotten enough sleep this week, even though I've been on vacation this entire week, but I wanted to read and I've been waking up early anyway, so I've been starting reading earlier than maybe was planned. But this was my first read-a-thon and it was fun. I read so much. I also counted. I've read 3,010 pages in 7 days. I think that is quite nice, actually. Yeah, but that is all I had for this video. So if you wanna see more of my videos, please subscribe, hit the like button, follow me on Instagram and so on. I think that's all I have to say.